Hi there, my name is Matthew Brick. I'm a Valor Christian High School student, brother of four. I'm a wrestler, and I'm out to find interesting stories to talk to about, make connections, and hopefully point people to God. Let's get this, the Brick House Podcast.
This is Brick's home. This is your house. Presenting the Brick House Podcast. The Brick House. Here comes the boom.
Hey there, guys. My name's Matthew Brick. Welcome back to the Brick House Podcast. Thank you guys for listening in. This will be an amazing episode. Today is a Wednesday night, right before youth. Let's go. You guys got to come in and see it sometime. Try it out. I'm here with a friend from Red Rocks Youth, Sara Boyle. She's a senior at ThunderRidge High School, and she ice skates and much more. You should get to know her sometime. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Hi, everyone. This is really exciting.
Oh,
Super exciting.
I'm excited. I'm really, I say this is a special episode. This is because everyone that I try to have on here is very special. And I try to find people that just have something to say. And I think you do have something to say.
Yeah, for sure.
How are you doing? How's your week been?
I'm doing good. The week's been busy. Senior in high school, so things are definitely creeping up. But yeah, I had a whole bunch of senior papers due, essays due. And now it's starting to slow down. And I really hope that nothing vamps up like that anymore. And I'm able to just relax for the rest of the year. But this week's been good.
Oh, that's good. You're coming to the end of your senior year.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have to put in as much work as you had to in the past years, or are you kind of free riding now?
I feel like knowing that I'm a senior and I have 11 weeks left.
Oh, nice.
I'm kind of more chill and stuff like that. But I also have to constantly remind myself this isn't the end. The end is graduation. I have to keep motivating myself to get my stuff done, do my homework, pay attention in class.
Oh, that's great. So where did you have you decided where you're going?
I'm not 100% committed yet. But Baylor University, I feel so called to that school, and God is providing for me to go down there, and it's fantastic.
Oh, that's great. You ice skate, right?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. How do you get in ice skating, and what do you love about ice skating, maybe?
Yeah. So my mom, she was actually a professional figure skater. She was on the USA national team. And that kind of really spiked my interest. Skating has always been in my family. Again, my mom grew up figure skating. My dad plays hockey. So I always grew up on the ice. I think by the time I could start walking, my mom laced up skates on me and she was like, go on out, go have fun. And so I've always loved it. I started competitively when I was 12. So honestly, not that long ago, but I absolutely love the sport. I just love the feeling of feeling free out on the ice and just not having to worry about anything else and being artistic and overcoming these challenges and boundaries and landing new jumps and all of that stuff. So it's a lot of accomplishments that I feel with the sport.
That's great. Is that something that you could see yourself doing all your life?
No, which is it's so crazy for me to say because I truly do love the sport so much, but when I do go down to Baylor next year, the closest ice rink is in Austin, which is an hour and a half away. So sadly,
Hook 'em horns? No?
I have to compromise and choose Baylor over skating. But I also feel like I'm at the point where I do need to start slowing down on skating. I'm not competing this year, and kind of just enjoy the sport and enjoy life and not feel so fast paced when it's especially my last few months at home and stuff like that. So I feel like I'm definitely going to miss skating. And when I'm home for winter break or Thanksgiving break, I'll definitely come to the rink because that's my second family, my second home. But yeah, I I don't plan on doing it past high school, which is crazy.
Hey, that's so cool. I wish I'm on the other. Well, after this year, I'll be on the other end of high school, which I
Yeah.
think is cool.
That's so exciting.
It is.
It's going to go by fast, Matthew. Just you wait.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited. That's great. Great to hear. Tell us. So you went to Rwanda, right?
Yes.
What was that like? If you'd be willing to share.
Oh,
That is so cool
100%.
that you did that.
Yes. Thank you. I think about Rwanda every single day, since the trip, which was 6 months ago-ish, a little over 6 months ago. And it was just so incredible. I felt a calling to go and spread the gospel in another country, and I was given that opportunity here, and it was just incredible. It was a journey getting there, but we finally got there, and the main thing that I learned was joy. And I feel like here in America, and especially in Colorado, Highlands Ranch area, you can't really find joy from people. It's very fast-paced, very kind of selfish in a way. But when I was in Rwanda, most people speak English, but there was still a language block because they speak Kenyan Rwandan. And no matter what, people said hi. It was just incredible. And like all these little kids would just like run up to you and give you a hug. In Rwanda, we built a house. We went and met families who are going through hard times and hardships. We were able to do a vacation Bible school with all of the students in Rwanda who are attending Hope Haven, which is a Christian school in Rwanda, which is incredible what they do and what they offer their students and everything. But yeah, I mean, if I could go back to Rwanda in a heartbeat, I totally would.
Nice.
I love it so much. I smile every time I think about it. It's incredible.
And what were like the steps leading to the choice of like, when did you know that you were going to do it? And like, what were the thoughts that were in your head that made you decide to do it?
Yeah. So when it was first mentioned to me, it was mentioned to me earlier than the release date of them announcing it to everybody. I didn't have a single doubt in my head that I wasn't going on that trip. I knew from the day that it was told to me that I was called to go on the trip. And it's hard because my dad actually didn't support me going on this trip. And he didn't know that I signed up for it. And I put a deposit down for it. And after you put the deposit down, you still have to go through interviews and submit an application and stuff. But I knew that, there's no way I'm going to let, my dad get in between me and my relationship with God. So submitted my application, got the congratulations, you're going to Rwanda email.
Nice.
And we had a good group of around 20 to 30 students and volunteers go. And we all met up at the Lakewood campus, which is another Red Rocks campus, a few times every month just to get to know each other more, read a book about Rwanda, kind of learn what we're supposed to expect there and how we're supposed to treat people, how we're supposed to dress, and all of that fun stuff.
And were there any hardships that you saw out there?
Yeah, it was, the missions trip was so much fun and it was so incredible. But being out there, it's really hard to witness that, God has a purpose for me to be in the United States and has a purpose for, the citizens of Rwanda to live in Rwanda. And people in Rwanda don't have much at all. Like there are so many people living in shacks without food, without water. And I kind of was just talking to God and I was like, why? Why did you choose me to live in the United States? Like I was so undeserving and I felt so undeserving about everything that I had and compared to what all those other people had. And yeah, it still shocks me to this day and it makes me more thankful for what I have. But at the same time, I just always think back to, how they didn't have much at all and stuff like that. And it was very awakening for me to not take what I have for granted because people in a third world country are begging for those types of things. So that was definitely one of the hardest things that I witnessed there. But I also went to many of like the genocide memorials, because Rwanda had a really bad genocide between their two tribes like 30 years ago. And so they created a few different memorials in the country, and we all as a group went to see those genocides or the genocide memorials, and it was a lot. They didn't really hide anything that could have been visually disturbing. So we were looking at things that, are kind of scarring and stuff like that. So seeing that also just brought tears to my eyes. But there's also good that comes out of everything like that. And the two tribes that were battling against each other ended up, like, when the genocide was over, they ended up, forgiving each other and knowing that, like, Christ needs to be leading us together instead of apart from each other, and that it's not about the two tribes' statuses. It's about Jesus and it's about God. And they were able to forgive each other no matter, who got murdered in their family. Other family members were able to give complete, like, faith and, like, forgiveness to those people and to God.
Yeah, do you think that's one of the things that I think it is, but do you think like forgiveness is one of the hardest things that even amongst Christians or not Christians, when someone wrongs you, it's hard to forgive?
Yeah, forgiveness is really hard, and it's something that I'm still working on, because I feel like sometimes I can externally forgive somebody, but deep down in my heart, I still feel burdened by it. And I feel like when you do feel burdened by it, in a sense that you haven't fully forgiven them. And it's hard because you want to forgive somebody, depending on like what the situation is. Like, God calls us to forgive just like he forgave us, which you can find in Ephesians 4. But it's hard. It's a challenge to forgive people, especially for, what they did wrong. But you also have the feeling of like, you just want to hold a grudge against them. Like, they did that to me. Like, I can't talk to them anymore. I can't forgive them anymore. And complete forgiveness is hard. It is hard, like having that weight lifted off of your shoulders, but it's something that needs to be done. We are called to forgive. And as hard as that is, we need to overcome that boundary and pray and talk to God about what the best way is to finally share your forgiveness with the other person.
Oh, that's great stuff. That's some powerful stuff right there. I love it. You said a little bit about like relationship with God and Jesus. When did you grow up in Christianity, or maybe not? No,
I did not grow up in a Christian household whatsoever. It was actually taboo, in my
Okay.
household. It wasn't like we knew of Jesus and, to always say, oh my gosh, but we never went to church. I didn't understand why people worshipped or believed in a God, but I always had like questions, and I would actually always ask my dad these questions about like, oh, who is Jesus? Like, how did he rise from the dead? Like, what? It's all so confusing. How can this all be one story? And my dad would answer those questions for me, but in the end, I didn't get like the answers that I wanted. And so I think it was my sophomore year, I got invited to Red Rocks Youth and fell in love with it. And I felt like in an instant, so many questions about faith and about God and all of that were just answered. And I was so awakened. And ever since that one night, I have come to youth every single
Oh,
week.
nice.
Yeah, I've been coming to youth now for around 2.5 years. And it's changed my life, man. I found family here. I've found those godly relationships that I've always like strived for, and I've been baptized here. And oh yeah, it makes me so like happy that I finally found a place where I feel like I can be 100% myself, and I could pursue God and chase after God and get to know him more and more and more each time I walk into this building.
Well, that's great. I feel the same way. Anyone that needs a home or just has questions, come to Red Rocks.
Yes.
But how will you feel when you're going to be leaving soon? And like, how do you feel and think that you can make a new community in Texas?
Um,
How do you think that's going to go?
yeah, so that's something that's been in my mind, since the beginning of senior year was leaving this church family. And it makes me so sad because this is where, my foundation was built and where I found Jesus and where I believe like I was 100% saved. So it's going to be really hard and really challenging to leave this place. But I also feel God calling me so evidently to Texas. And with myself going to a Christian school, I believe that I'm going to receive so much more knowledge about things to then pour into others. I will be the only person in my family who lives in Texas. So I'm fleeing away. I'm building my own life, going where I feel most called to go. And, I believe that because God has that calling on my life, that I will find those people and those relationships kind of similar to what I find here at Red Rocks. So yes, is it scary? Of course, like moving away is always going to be scary, especially when you don't know anybody else who's moving down. But I'm so excited and like I'm so eager to like see what the Lord has in store for me.
Yeah, do you have like and it's okay if you don't know, but like, do you have an idea of what you're meant to do, maybe your purpose?
Yeah, when I went down to Baylor the other weekend, actually, that was, what it was all about. So I got called down for a scholarship opportunity, and it was all about discerning your call and what you're going to do with what you've learned in ministry and stuff like that. And we had an essay prompt about, given the resources that you've learned here at Baylor, like, how are you going to discern your call? And I was writing my essay and I said, hey, like, I've got to be honest, and I don't know exactly what I'm called to yet. I do know that I'm called to share the gospel, and I do know that I need to receive knowledge about Jesus and about our Lord to then give to other people. So I definitely want to work inside of a church, but I also feel called to the business world.
Nice,
And I'm
nice.
majoring in business, specifically under professional selling. And I'm hoping that, two and two will like come together and I can be involved in a church and I can work at a church, but I can also, go out and like spread Jesus to others and like the business world where you don't usually see Jesus. So, don't really know exactly how two and two are going to come together, but I plan on doing a core major in business for professional selling and then doing a secondary major in Christian religion. So.
Well, if anyone can bring those two together, I think you can. You just gotta make it the Sara Boyle way. You just gotta make it your way. This might be a little bit of a switch, a change up, but I am starting to have more of a female audience, and I mean maybe for both guys or girls. But what would you say? Like today we were talking about relationships, not even maybe necessarily relationships, but like what would you have to say? Maybe to even what you would have said to yourself, but what, like, if there's anything pressing on your heart, what would you say to young boys and girls, maybe just coming into high school or it's their second year? Like, if you're going to say something to a sophomore, what would you say?
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic question. And I hope I don't mess this up, but it's that like flowers can't grow without rain. Almost like, we as individuals, we can't grow without going through challenges, without going through hardships and all of this stuff. And kind of similar to Job in the Bible, his faith was so great and he had his firm foundation set that, the enemy saw it and was like, oh, hey, God, like, can I mess with Job a little bit? Like, let's test his faith. And God was like, okay, like, I believe that Job will still remain faithful in me. So yes, you are able to kind of pick at Job a little bit, take things from Job, and we'll see, how faithful he truly is. And I feel like that really resonates a lot with us as human beings and how God gives us challenges. And we do not know now what we're going through, but later we will come to an understanding, and how each, punch that might be thrown at us is just continuing to allow us to grow and to flourish and to have an identity in ourselves. And hopefully, like when we do receive those punches, that we do go to God and that we do run to Jesus and we don't run to the world, just like Job did. Job did remain faithful, and he came out of like his trials and tribulations so much stronger because he was able to step his foot down and say, yes, Jesus, it's you. It's always been you. And, he was able to like receive the Holy Spirit. And so I feel like for anybody who is going through a hard time right now, both males and females, it's like we cannot grow without these challenges and without these hard times in life. You just have to keep pushing through. You have to keep praying. You have to keep believing. You have to remain faithful in who you believe in. Yeah, life, when we are called to live a life for God, it's never meant to be easy. Nowhere in the Bible did it say, oh, your life is going to be easy. It's going to be rainbows and butterflies when you follow me. But, we are going to come with trials. But this life is so much better and like so much more fulfilling. And it's, how do we live that? How do we take that and take what we've learned to go and spread that out to like other people, and how do we use that to lift ourselves back?
That's great. That's cool. That's cool. Oh man, we're about to go into Red Rocks Youth tonight. It's always like a party. It is.
It is. Red Rocks Youth is the best. The best.
No bias, totally not.
Not biased. Wink, wink. But no, like if you don't go to a youth group, get yourself plugged into a youth group. I thought it was so weird at first. I was like, I am never going to go to a youth group, but I got invited and, I said yes. And my life has been transformed for the better. It does not have to be at Red Rocks Youth. But if you do find a group or a small group, gather a group of friends from school and say, hey, like, let's go try out a youth group. If that's something that you're called to do it. Do not be hesitant to do it. Like, you will be fulfilled to the max and find happiness and joy in the Lord like no other.
Yeah, and if you can't find anyone, come to us. Come say what's up. Come say what's up.
Come say hi.
That's cool. That's cool. And you're a twin.
Yes. Yep. Identical twin.
I can relate. Triplet over here.
That's crazy. I feel like being a twin is already enough. I couldn't imagine having another one of me.
I have a friend who's a quadruplet. It's just, It's crazy. I know so many multiples and.
Wow. That is so crazy.
Is your sister at all like you, or is she completely?
We look so similar. Like our parents get us mixed up. I can't tell us apart in our baby photos.
Okay.
But we are like completely our own different, like individual person. We like to say we're Liv and Maddie from the Disney Channel TV show. I'm very much Liv. I love fashion. I love style. I love art. I love singing. I'm very girly. And my sister Caitlin, she's very much so like Maddie. She grew up a tomboy. She plays soccer. She does cross country and track and, all of those, really like detrimental, like hard sports to do. And, I figure skate where I can go out on the ice and wear pretty dresses and be artistic. So we have completely different friends and all of that, but I actually really enjoy that because being your own individual is so much better than like constantly like competing with each other. And like we already do compete with each other. Like,
I hear that.
You're a twin. You're bound to. You want to be better than the other person. You want to get more attention, but it's a little bit nicer and we get a little bit more room to become flexible, knowing that we are two completely different. We have the same DNA, but we do not have the same personality whatsoever.
Yeah, people don't see me with my brothers, but if they were to see, we're more than just looking alike. I have a identical and then I have a fraternal, but we still get grouped together and we have, but I think at least growing up now and, now that we're each at our own high school, actually.
Okay, really?
There's some good and bad that for reasons for that. I think that I can definitely grow my relationship with them and I hope that we can come closer. And I think there's a reason for maybe some of the separation, but I believe it's God's plan eventually. But yeah, we each have we don't really talk that much, but
yeah, there'll be some days where, me and my sister, our bedrooms are right next to each other, but we don't even see each other that day.
Yeah.
You know, we wake up at different times. We have different activities. And yeah, then I'll come home like super late and she's already in bed. And, you know, same thing
Yeah.
the next day.
Is she going to, or she's not going to Texas? She's staying here?
Yeah. So she's staying in Colorado. She's running cross country and track for Colorado Mesa
Okay.
in Grand Junction. And I'm very, very proud of her. She's worked really
That's so
hard
cool.
for her running career. And she got an offer to run with them. And she took the offer. She said yes. And she loves the campus. She found a
That's
roommate.
great.
They have exactly what she wants to study. So I'm excited to see, you know, how our lives are going to change once we're both out of the house, especially not just for us, but like our parents too. Like you're going from 2 people quickly to nobody. Like I feel like it's going to be so weird. And, you know, Caitlin is somebody that I can just tell everything to, you know, I can vent to her. I can rant to her. She's my best friend. Like we're so different, but we both love each other and we both tell each other everything. So being across the country from her is going to be so weird. We're probably going to call like every hour of the day at first, but you know, I'm excited to see, you know, how different life is going to be and, you know, how she's going to grow as an individual and how I'm going to grow more as an individual. And we don't have, you know, those middle people like comparing us and stuff. So it'll be fun. It'll be interesting.
I have a huge grin on my face because I know if my mom's listening to this right now, she's going to be so jealous of that. My mom's like, I can't even get my 3 sons to cooperate and like behave and get in a car ride.
Yeah, that used to be Caitlin and I, you know, people would, you know, ask our parents and be like, are these girls ever going to get along? And our parents would say no, but we're each other's best friends. Like I love my sister so much.
Mom, there's hope for us. Okay. So, but yeah, I don't know if we'll call as much, but yeah, I would love to stay in touch with them. We'll see. But yeah, that's great. Is there anything else that you'd like to say or like hit on or leave your inspirational speech? You know?
I feel like I pretty much covered it all other than like, if you feel God calling you so evidently to something, you know, reach for that and take hold of that and say yes. You know, it's stepping outside of your faith comfort zone is how you grow and how you are able to proclaim the gospel to other people. So if you feel a calling to step outside of your comfort zone, to get plugged into a youth group, to take on like an internship at a church or join a leadership program, like do it 100%. Like don't be scared. Go for it. It's not weird. Like if anything, you're just going to grow to be more mature. And people will see that and people will notice that. So be unique. Go out there. Say yes to what God is calling you to say yes to.
Oh, that's great. Like Sarah says, just do it.
Nike.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. That's a wrap. That's the end of the episode, guys. Make sure to listen in to next week. Next week is going to be a good episode too. Each week we're going to keep getting better. And yeah, love you guys. Thank you.